Ladies and gentlemen, it's Tixie here and welcome back to the channel. So the game mode Demolition has been in Black Ops 6 now for about 2.5 weeks, probably 3 weeks by the time this video actually lands on the channel. And today I wanted to share my early thoughts and opinions on how the game mode is playing here in Black Ops 6, similar to what we did with Black Ops Cold War and MW3. So the game mode off the rip is playing, it's fairly standard, right? It's got, your two rounds, attacking and defending. And if you do go to a third round, you've got one bomb, which is something we've come accustomed to in the past couple of years. The time extension in the game mode is very good at the moment. I mean, there's a lot of things that make Demolition what it is, right? One of those has always been sticky spawns. But I think time extension has always been a pretty big thing, right? Looking back over the years, one thing that makes Demolition what it is being able to get high kill games. And the more time you have to do that, the more kills you're going to get, right? And the time extension is very decent in Black Ops 6. And the spawns are working as you'd expect them to. However, there is a little bit of a situation around the spawns. So basically what's happening is the game mode is playable across pretty much every map in the game, right? Which is a W in itself. I always said in Black Ops Cold War and Modern Warfare 3, I didn't understand why the game mode was only playable across certain maps. I think it was like 12 maps in Cold War and something similar in MW3. Don't get me wrong, the map pool that they used in Cold War and MW3 was decent, but you always kind of think to yourself, it'd be cool to be able to play it across all of the maps, which you can do in Black Ops 6, which is really good. But obviously, the thing that comes with that is that it's taken me a lot longer to play the maps like multiple times, right? You need to get reps in on the maps. The more you play a map, the more you understand how the spawns work. You understand how the map kind of plays, because every kind of game it plays a little bit different. You need to play in different lobbies, put yourself in different situations, different scenarios, kind of work out how to play the map, how people are going to approach certain bomb sites. So it's obviously taken a lot longer to do that. So it's a little bit hard at the moment to completely work out the spawns. I don't think there's a single map where I completely understand the spawns yet, except for maybe like Babylon and Payback. But obviously those maps are really, really small. There isn't really too much to learn when it comes to the spawns. The other problem as well with Demolition at the moment is that you can't actually vote for a map. So I don't know why it's like that. It was like that when it had its own kind of dedicated playlist. Now it's been added in with all the other games, but even if you select just Demolition, you don't get the opportunity to vote for maps. You just get whatever map the game gives you. So that's also causing a little bit of an issue there in terms of learning the spawns, is that you can't even like vote for a map you like constantly. You're just getting given whatever the game wants. And again, that's just adding to kind of taking a little bit more time, right, to learn the spawns. But other than that, the spawns are working as you'd expect them to. They are fairly sticky. I just don't really feel like I've got a full read on the majority of the maps at the moment. So one thing they did in Cold War that I actually was never really sure if I liked it or not, but I actually think is a positive, is it lets you know when someone's planting or defusing a bomb. Whereas in Black Ops 6, that isn't happening. And I think it's actually a pretty cool thing to have in the game. I suppose it kind of stops those kind of ninja kind of diffuses, but that doesn't really tend to happen in Demolition. That's more of a search and destroy thing. And I think that in Demolition, it kind of added to it and kind of increased the pace of the game a little bit. And to be fair, there were a lot of times where I didn't realise when someone was planting or defusing in Cold War, so it's not like ridiculously overpowered. But I feel like that's a cool thing they could add into this game. There's also no timer at the moment. So it's kind of hard to tell when someone puts the bomb down how long you've got till you have to defuse the bomb, because it's literally got like a triangle above the bomb for like the A or the B site, and then it's got like this bar that goes around the outside of it to sort of say how long it's got until the bomb blows up. But when you're playing and you're playing at a fast pace, you can't really keep an eye on a triangle and a bar, right? You need an actual timer. So I think they need to add that in. Also in Cold War, if you started planting or defusing a bomb before the round ended, providing you'd started it, it would let you plant or defuse, which again added in some extra time and sometimes allowed for those really last minute plants and defuses, which would be another cool thing to add into Black Ops 6, because at the moment, if you don't get to the bomb in time, it will blow up when you're defusing, or the game will end if you're trying to plant it. Another thing that I've noticed is I'm loading into a lot of games with like 4 or 5 players. I don't know if it's because the playlist isn't that popular. I feel like, Demolition is normally, in Black Ops Cold War and MW3, had no problems getting 6v6 games. So that's been a little bit of a problem in BO6. It's not every game, but it's happening a little bit more often than you'd like it to. The other issue as well, and this has been a big problem across Black Ops 6 since the game released, it's not just a Demolition thing, is that lobbies are not filling if people leave the game. And obviously Demolition is quite high up there for a game mode where people leave, specifically if you get a team and you're sort of locking them in the spawn. So you need new players to be added to the game. That's not really happening. So there's a lot of dead games at the moment, right, where just like, it starts well and then it just kind of nothing happens. You know, people leave the game, it just kind of drops off, and it, you know, what could have been a good game ends up being a bit of a boring game. And Demolition is one of those game modes where it can be like the best game mode in the world, but it can also be like really boring if people aren't joining the games, or you're getting unbalanced teams. So yeah, I think they need to try and have a look at that. But again, I feel like that has been a problem across Black Ops 6 all year, is lobbies filling, but it's just emphasized a little bit more on Demolition because it is a game mode where people like to leave. But as I say, guys, Demolition is like my all-time favorite game mode, and I don't think there'll ever be a bad version of it, right? And I have been enjoying it here in Black Ops 6, but I think, to be completely honest, it's like, it is decent, but at the moment I don't really see this game mode having longevity for me compared to like Cold War, where even now, 4 or 5 years later, I'll spawn in and I can play Demolition for hours and hours. I'm not getting that feeling in Black Ops 6. I just think because of a lot of these like little frustrations, right? There's just so many kind of dead games where not much is really happening, which is kind of like, you know, like I say, coming back to the lobbies filling is a problem. And I think not being able to vote for certain maps, like if you get like red card come up, I know I uploaded the gameplay on red card the other day, but more often than not, people are just leaving, right? So you don't even spawn in. Like, it's just very, very frustrating at the moment, but I'm going to continue to play it. Like I say, it has been enjoyable. I just think to really get a full read on the game mode, I need to play the same maps more and more, but it's just taken a long time to do that. And then, you know, I think as well, this is, I'm not trying to be ultra negative here, but I feel like adding my favorite game mode to Black Ops 6 has kind of solidified the fact that I just don't think Black Ops 6 is for me, right? Like, I've been enjoying it more than I have all year, and I have been having a pretty good time throughout Season 3, but there's also just a lot of things that are starting to add up that are a little bit frustrating, and I think it's just the way the game is built as a core. I feel like is just kind of probably one of the bigger problems, but I'm going to leave that for another video before Season 4 drops. I'm going to get into that a little bit more about some of the bits and pieces that I've noticed, but other than that, I'm going to keep grinding Demolition. Hopefully, you know, we can start to drop some gameplays, and I'm trying to unlock camos and stuff at the moment. But yeah, overall, it is playing fairly decent in BO6. It could do with a couple of tweaks, but ultimately it needs to have full 6v6 lobbies. The teams need to be a little bit more balanced, and map voting needs to be added because we need to start getting games on the decent maps instead of just being given whatever they've got. So yeah, we're going to leave it there for today's video, guys. If you've played Demolition in Black Ops 6, let me know what you think and how does it compare to MW3 and Black Ops Cold War. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Have a great day, and I'll catch you all in the next one.